Right, if you look at the image that we've got, you can see it's got artifacts around the screen. We zoom in. You can see these cropping artifacts. All this has to be removed. This is where the star alignment took place, and you get it on all astro images when you align. So it's very simple to remove. We use a process called dynamic crop. So we load up dynamic crop, click on this reset button here, and when you move your mouse cursor down here, you can see that the cursor changes slightly. So you can just move that up there and remove the artifacts. You don't want to take too much out, but after a while you get used to how much you need to actually crop on the image, because you don't want to be processing any of that nasty crap down the bottom there. So once you've crop the image to show what you want, you click the tick button. Now this is going to be running the processes. So as the processes run, hopefully the stream won't get too laggy. So I'm going to click that tick box there, and that will run the dynamic crop process. Right, so that's cropped out the nastiness on that image, and we can shut down dynamic crop now. The next process we want to run, we could actually run one or two, but what we'll run first is we'll run dynamic background extraction, which will pull all of this redness off the screen. In fact, if we take a look at histogram, and histogram transformation, you'll probably see what we're dealing with. If I zoom out on this here, you can see how it's all out of whack. The red's over here, the greens here, the blues here. It's no good. So what we do is we run the dynamic background extraction first before we go any further. Now this is quite a long process to get this right, but it's worthwhile doing. And if you look here, you see dynamic background extraction. And what you do with this process is you use it to select parts of the image that you want to balance, if you like, to extract the background from. And we don't need that to see that. And what we do, click on the reset button, click on that down there on the sample generation, and click on generate. Actually, I'm going to just make the default sample radius 12, click generate. What you'll see is it's put crosses all over the screen. These are our sample points, but we need to have more than what it's giving us. So we need to increase our tolerance. So I'm going to increase our tolerance to 1.5 and click generate again. Now you can see we've got a sample point pretty much close to the whole image. We need to put one there and one there. Hopefully they won't go red. No, they haven't. And we'll put one there. And what we need to do is we need to go through each of those sample points to make sure none of the sample points are sat on stuff that we actually want to see. So stars or galaxies or anything like that. It does quite a good job on its own, but we need to actually double check before we run the process. So to run the process, you obviously got to zoom in to look a bit closer. And I start at the right hand side at the top, and I start looking. I can see I can move that one there. And we just move down here using the scroll bar, making sure that none of those squares are sat on top of stars or anything else that we want to, as I said, anything else we want to see. Just going to move that down there. Then we go across until we see the next one. There we go. There's that one there. And then we go back up. This is how I do it. Oh, pretty good, isn't it? On top of the stars. Ah, see that one's on top of the star? So we need to move that. So click on it and drag it away from that star. That one's okay. That one's okay. Again, it's quite boring, quite time consuming, but it's worth it. I'm down again. Okay, doing all right. Yep, that's fine. Cross again till we see the next one. And scroll back up. Now, somewhere as we come up here, we're going to start seeing galaxy. We don't want any of these over any of the galaxy. Ah, there's one there. Look, he's over there. Need to move that one away. Okay, good. Move across. There, that's on top of a star, so move that across. No, that's fine. Yep, doing good. Here's the galaxy. We don't want any of those squares near this galaxy. No, we're okay so far. It's okay. Ooh, it's a bit tight in there, isn't it? I'm just going to move him down there out the way. Right, that's good. Roll back up. Halfway through now. See, we're at the cross, which is the center of the image. Yep, we're good. Yep, all good. Next column. Scroll down. Nope, all good. Next one. Somewhere along here. Where are you? You don't have any? Ah, there he is. You already do that one. Yep. Just scroll out a little bit. Sure. Scrolled out because you see this group of galaxies here. This is the Stefan's quintet, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting anywhere near that, so we're good. One's over a star there. When you get used to doing this, you'll figure it out. You know, you don't have to be zoomed in like that all the time. You'll see. You'll be able to see when you're over the top of the star. Okay, we're good. And the last ones. Looking at the right over here on the left hand side. You just see those squares there. I'm going to add another one in there. You can add as many as you like. Just manually, you can add them if you want. So that's now got our sample points added. What we do now is click on there, target image correction. Now obviously the correction we want to use is subtraction. What that will do is it will pull all that redness and any other nastiness off that image. If you haven't got flats and you're dealing with gradients of vignetting, then you can use division. But because I use flats, I don't need to bother about that. So what we do now is we drag the triangle here over the top of the image, and that will now process that image and hopefully get us towards where we're going a bit more. Right, there we go. I'll just shut down background extraction, dynamic background extraction, shut that down. Okay. Now you'll see this is what it pulled off. And if we put a stretch on that, you'll see a very red screen. And this is the redness it just pulled out of that image. So we can actually shut that down. We don't want that. And let's put a stretch on this and see how it looks. This is the DBE'd drizzle integration image. Okay, so you can see we're getting there. However, we have these nasty red bands. This is quite typical with the Canon DSLR that you get these red bands. So what I'm going to do, shut that down. I don't need to keep that anymore. Right. I'm going to save this file, and it's got the added DBE on the end, so I'm just going to save that file. So this is the one we're now working on. You see how it's moving along through the processing of the image? PixInsight includes a script, which I hope they haven't removed in this update. I don't think they would have done, called Canon Banding Reduction. And this removes those bands. It balances the image out, if you like. Right, there you go. See, it's made it look a little bit better in terms of lines over the image. So we're getting there. Now, what we would generally do at this point is we would do a background neutralization and a color calibration on this image. But I found this autocolor script, which appears to do a pretty good job. So I'm going to run that now and see how it does. Before we run it, let me just show you on the local histogram. Sorry, not local histogram. It's histogram on the histogram transformation screen, how the actual image looks in terms of its reds and its greens and its blues. Right, and you see there we've got red either side. Shouldn't really be like that. Now if I just drag that over there and we run this autocolor script, I'm hoping what will happen is it will balance all that out. So I'll just run it. There's nothing to do. You just click that and then it should do something to that image in terms of the color. So let's see what happens. Right, so it's done the RGB and now it's doing some other stuff. What's going to happen here? Oh dear. We've gone white. Don't want white. I think that's done. Right, now look at the histogram. Look how it's balanced that. Really nice, isn't it? Way it's balanced all that together as best it can. So yeah, that's really cool. Seems to have done a reasonable job. Let's have a look at the image and zoom in, see what it's like. Yeah, we're getting there. Bit of noise there to remove, but we're actually getting there on this image, which is pretty cool, I think. Okay, so what should we do now? Well, the next job we have to do, we have to remove noise, because there is some noise in the image. It's sitting there in the background. See all that speckly stuff. And what we'll do is we'll use a process called multi-scale linear transform, which you've probably seen lots of people use. But before I can use that, I have to I have to put a mask on the image to protect what we don't want affected by the noise reduction. So I click that button there. What this is doing now is it's creating a black and white image, which isn't stretched. but we have to stretch this properly and then apply it to the image. So we go process, where is it gone? Screen transfer function. I'm sure they've added something in here because everything's moved around on this latest update. Histogram transformation, and that just reset all this back to where it was. Click on the tick box, click on that button, that nuclear button on the screen transfer function. Okay, and then drag this over there like that onto that bottom bar. Bring up the real-time preview and see the real-time preview has gone totally white. We don't want that. We need to remove that first stretch and shut down that there. Now what I want to do is I want to crush this image a little. I call it crushing the image. And what I'm doing here is I'm wheeling backwards towards me with the mouse wheel so I can get a view of the histogram in this window. Because the way a mask works, everything that's white, you need whites and blacks for the mask to work properly. And you can see there's a mixture of black, greyish, red or grey and white in this. So I'm trying to now remove the sort of the grey stuff. If I stretch like that, you can see the grey coming through. I want to try and get rid of that. Otherwise the mask will try and mask it, you know what I mean? You've got to be a bit careful because if you go too far, you'll end up losing your galaxy. Probably going to do it like that. So shut down real-time preview and drag that little triangle there over the top of our mask that we made here by clicking that button there. Shut down histogram transformation. And whoops. Drag this tab over the side here like this, just that spot there, and minimize your mask. Now you can see that everything, or things have gone red. Now everything that's red on that screen is protected. Everything that isn't red is not protected. Now we want to work on the background, so we need to invert the mask. We go mask, invert mask. Now you can see that everything is red. Everything that is red is protected. Everything that is not red is now going to be affected by what we do with our multi-scale linear transform. So we're going to click show mask. Now I wish they'd code it in such a way where it says unshow mask and show mask when you do this, but it's show mask to actually deselect it. Now the mask is still applied, but you just can't see it, and this enables us to work on the image. And I'm going to do this with a preview. So what I need to do is, ideally I want to grab that galaxy like that so we can see the noise. There we go, there's the noise. And what we do is we go to process, multi-scale linear transform. These are all layers. The image is made up of layers. So what we can do is we can try and reduce the amount of noise or all that speckling that you can see, but you have to be careful, you can't go crazy. Otherwise it'll just look mush. It'll make it go really strange. We've got our preview on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the amount on the first layer to 30. 3 iterations. Second layer, turn on noise reduction. Drop the threshold to 2. Gain 30%. 3 iterations. And on this layer here, yeah, you guessed it, 1 30%. 3 iterations. I'm going to try that. So, and it's set to RGBK components. So let's drag this over here. It's a little triangle. And see what it does to that preview. It may take a while. We'll see. But there, okay. So now it's finished processing that. You can see it's we've maybe got a bit too much. Let's zoom out and see what it looks like. Look at the stars. Now what I can do here. Lost my preview. Here we go. My little preview button here. Right, now this is a preview, so there's a button here called undo preview, and what I can do is just click on that and it will take us back to where we were before. Not too bad. Let's just zoom in. You see it's like flattened out that noise. It's not too bad, is it? Also now got to look at the galaxy when I do that backwards and forwards trick. Yeah, so the mask is actually working. It's not affected the galaxy in any way. So I actually like that, what we've done there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to our main image. This is the preview we were just looking at. And I'm going to drag that. I want to actually see the process box here. Well, I want you to see the process box so you know what's going on. And what we'll do is we'll drag the small triangle here over the main image and let it run. It's going to take probably 3 or 4 minutes, so I'll drop off stream or I'll drop off the mic and camera while it's doing it. We'll see what it looks like when we've done that. Okay, so that's done. That was fast, actually. I thought it'd be take a lot longer than that. Let's have a look at the image, see how it's behaving. Not too bad, actually. Gotta be careful here at this stage. This is the stage where things can really get messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull that preview off. Right, and I'm just going to hit, there's a button up here, which I can undo, the multi-scale linear transform. We'll undo that and see if we can see a difference. I'll just click the button. And then we'll redo. It did make a difference. Not so you'd see, but, whoops. Just, there we go. See when you undo it, see the speckly horrible noise comes back, and when you redo it, it gets a bit better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a little test here. I'm going to grab another preview and just see if I can improve that a bit better by working on the chrominance within multi-scale linear transform. So we'll hit that reset button there. Drop that down there like that. Layers, I'm going to choose 7 layers. And I'm going to choose here chrominance. Chrominance apparently is the colour. So we are masked, so I'm going to see if I can see reds and bits and pieces in here in the background. I'm just going to apply noise reduction to the chrominance on the first 4 layers. And then we'll see what this does. Let's drag that over there, over the preview, and see what happens. Right, okay. So, let's just move him down there for now. And find my redo and undo preview. Just there. Now watch the main image. making a tiny bit of difference. But I'm going to apply it to the main image, because tiny changes are good. So let's apply that to the main image, drag it over there so we can see the process window, and let that run. You can see all the processing going on now in the process window. Now I've moved the box out of the way. It's quite fast, wasn't it? So we shut down multi-scale linear transform. Delete your preview. And that's what we have so far. Looking a bit different, isn't it? What we had before. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some WCS data on there. Hopefully this will work. Sometimes it doesn't, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to remove the mask first of all. Now WCS data is coordinate data. And what coordinate data is, it now allows the software to annotate our image. Now I know some of this has changed in this new version of PixInsight, so we'll have to see how it deals with it. It's in script, and it's under image analysis, image solver. And I need to make some changes here. I need to find what we're solving, which is NGC7331. Click the magnifying glass, like that. Click OK. Now these values have now changed. And what I change here is I put 500 here, and I leave pixel size at 1. And I click OK. Now if I start to see, I'll know if it's done it by what I see here in the process window. And we click OK. Just ignore that. It's to do with dates. Right, let's see what it says. It's downloading images now to try and compare that against a known space image to try and figure out, what's on the screen. And we'll know very shortly if we've done it. Detecting stars, have we got it? Something's going on. I'm not sure what, but something's happening. Yeah, you see where it says all this stuff here, scale X, scale Y. When you see that, then it's done it. If it flicks through and says trying different star matching and all that sort of stuff, then it hasn't done it. But it's actually solved the image, which is great. It's cool. There we go. That's done. So I can shut those down. I don't need those. And what this has done now is it's built coordinates data into this image, which it's not going to look very nice, but I'll show you quickly. Under render, annotate image. If I just click on OK on that, it's quite fast. It's now going to pop up an image showing everything that's on that image in terms of galaxies, stars, who knows what else. But we can't look at that yet because we haven't finished. This is one of the last processes or scripts that you run. So shut that down. Now I'm going to save this. So that's now saving that image. So great. What we're going to do now? What we'll do now is we'll put a proper stretch on the image. At the moment, this image is what's called linear. Now you can see it's linear. If you look down the side here, you can see it's got a green line. Basically, that means it's a linear image, and we have to make it non-linear to continue with any more processing. Right, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put a full stretch, a proper stretch on this image. If I turn the stretch off, you can see it goes black. So we need to stretch this so it's ready for, more processing. So we go to processes. Everything's moved. Where are you? Screen transfer function. And histogram transformation. This is how we put a full stretch on the actual image. just like this. And I've got a mask on that still. No, I haven't got the mask on. So we make sure we're looking at the right image, which is drizzle integration underscore DBE, like that. It's this one here. And make sure that tick box is ticked. Click on that little nuclear button there, and it's going to put its first stretch on the image. Okay. And then we drag that over the bottom there. Bring up real-time preview, and it looks white. Get rid of that first stretch, shut that down. Now what we do is we make this look a little bit normal. We need to scroll in on this window here. And what we do is we now make this real-time preview look a little bit normal by dragging on these sliders. Just like this. You can't go too far because you start clipping data. The rest of it can be dealt with at a later date. You need to be careful what you're clipping here in terms of the blacks. Just here you can see the percentage of pixels that you're actually clipping. Now here I'm clipping 3 pixels and it basically says 0%. There's hundreds of thousands of pixels there in that image. So I can move that a bit further till it goes crazy. So that's probably going to be good. Just about there. Right, that's good. So when that's like that, when you see it as you like, shut down real-time preview, drag that triangle over that image, and then it will apply its stretch to the image. There we go. And shut down histogram transformation. We can get rid of that as well, that mask. So what I'm going to do now we've put our full stretch on it to turn it from a linear into a non-linear image. I'm going to save that image. Anyway, I'm going to put a mask on this image because I'm going to do some a little bit of color, a little bit of curves on it to get some color back in the various places that we want to see color. So where were we? Histogram transformation on this mask image. Let's reset that. Too far. What I'm doing now is I'm crushing the image. So black is black and white is white. So that the mask will function correctly. Right, tricky one, this. Right, there we go. That'll do. So anyway, I've put this mask on now. I'm going to click on Show Mask. Now remember what I said before? Everything that's red is protected. Everything that isn't red is kind of unprotected. So what I do now is I do some curves on this and try and bring colour back in to the unprotected sections. But you have to be a bit careful because the stars aren't protected at this point. So what we do now is hello Luxy. Where was I? Yeah, put a preview on. I'm going to put a preview of the galaxy on there. All right, there's our NGC7331. And go to where have they moved it to? Curves transformation. It used to be here. Now it's up here, so they must have put something else in. I'll have to look at that, see what they've added. What we do with curves transformation, now the mask is on, hopefully everything I do here will only work on the galaxy. So what to tick that box, put on a real-time preview, and let's find out where we're going. Click on that S as well. We'll find out what we want to protect, which is going to be this area here. Very, very sensitive. And I'll protect up here as well. And click in here, you can see where I have to actually move. It's about there. So pushing that up now starts putting color into the galaxy. Like that. You have to be a bit careful with what you do here, because otherwise you can start doing weird things to stars. So I'm just going to put that apply that to the preview, and then zoom in just a little bit, and down here there's a preview box. There we go. And turn that preview on and off. There we go. See the color? I don't know if you can see that, but the color comes back in. Can you do that? So that's done on the preview. Now what I'll do is I'll apply that to the entire image, and hopefully it will look okay. Right, we're looking okay here actually. This is looking quite good. Right, I'm going to reset that. I'm going to put the real-time preview on again on the preview box. And I'm going to click on the L. Right, now what I'm doing here is I'm just seeing if I can brighten this up a little bit with a little bit of a stretch. This is what you got to be careful. Be very careful what you're doing here. If I go too far, it'll look horrible. I'm just putting like a kind of an S stretch on here. All right, let's see what that looks like applied to the whole image. What am I going to do now? I just put on that. What I'm going to try is I'm going to just try and see if there's a process here called local histogramic equalization. And I'm going to try this on this image just to see how it looks. What this does is it tends to sharpen things up a little bit, and you can make it look horrible. Hey, look at that. It can make it look horrible. Let's reset that back. Just looking at this local histogram equalization to see if we can put this on the preview. Just throw that on the preview and see what it looks like. Right, that's beginning to look pretty good, I think. Hang on. Yeah, that's before and after on that local histogram equalization. I think it looks okay. That's not too bad. Right, let's throw that on the main image and see if it wrecks the rest of the image. Because that's what can happen when you do these processes. You put it on and all you're looking at is the galaxy, but you got to look at the stars as well. Right, so that's that local histogram equalization run on the main image here. That's not looking too bad, is it? Okay, let's have a look down. Remove that preview. Let's have a look down here at this other lot. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, we're getting there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this mask, and I'm going to do a star mask and do a star reduction on these on this image, just to try and get the galaxies to pop out a little bit more. I'm just going to wind that up to 20 and see if I can do some star reduction. This may or may not make the stream go a bit odd. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. Let's see what happens. I should really run it on a preview first, but I'm not going to. Right, there's a star mask, all right, of stuff on the screen. And what you do is you click that button, you click that button, and then you drag this across over the top. It will snap to it like this, and let go. You can actually see what the mask will be masking. Now I can actually see that it's going to mask some of the nebulosity, not nebulosity, some of the galaxy just here. I don't want it to do that. And also it's going to affect this Stephan's quintet here. So the way you change that, this is why you do it with the preview, because it takes it's quicker with the preview to get it right. So I'm going to do a preview this time, because that wasn't right. I'm going to put a preview over that little area there, and then I'm going to wind up the star mask to noise threshold of about 30,000 or 0.3, sorry. Drag that over there. That should be quicker. Right, let's have a look, see how we're doing here. This was that star mask on the preview. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now what I'll do is you apply the star mask process to the whole image. That produces a star mask, which we now will run another process on once it's done that to reduce the star sizes. Right, now we'll take a look at how this looks on the main image. Drag that over there. You can see the features that I want to keep. I don't know if you can see them, but there's just this big star here, and there's galaxies here, and there's galaxies here, and obviously this one here. They're not being covered. When you put the star mask on, they're disappearing, which is good. What I'll do is drag this star mask over here, like this, and minimize star mask. And if I click on the preview and click on show mask, you can see when you, with PixInsight, when you have got a mask on an image, it looks like that. And everything that is white is unprotected. Everything that's red is protected. So we want to work on the stars, so this is the correct way round, because we want to minimize the star sizes. The mask is protecting everything else that is that's red. So unshow the mask, and then what I'll do is I go to processes and to a process called morphological transformation, and this is what reduces your star sizes and hopefully will not affect the stuff that we know is protected by the mask. Anyway, to do this we need to select 9 elements. Make sure this is like this. I'm going to do morphological selection on this. I'm going to calm this down here to about 50, 51 on the amount. Drag that over the preview and see what it does to the stars. Nope, that's not doing anything at all. Right, okay, let's up the selection a bit. Drag him over there and see what it does to the stars now. Nothing whatsoever. Wonderful. Let's drop the amount. It's starting to change. No, this isn't doing much at all, is it? Let's try erosion. See how erosion works. Yeah, there we go. We're starting to zap the stars. That's better. Right, let's just give it a bit more. There, see? That's getting there. Right. Before. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to put that star mask. I'm going to put that morphological transformation on the main image. See how we look. Right, that's put the star reduction on. Now I'm going to undo that and we'll see what difference it makes. There we go. And redo. Undo. Redo. Okay, that's good. We'll keep that. So close morphological transformation. I'm going to remove this preview and pull off the mask. Like that. And I'm saving that image now. Right, one last thing I'm going to do. Shut down that star mask. I'm going to remask this. And I'm just going to make this a little bit blacker. So create a mask. Come on. I know you've only got 2 processes, but come on, quicker. Right, thank you. And histogram transformation. Reset that. Move you right. Crush this down. Like that. We'll put that mask over there. Now I want to work on the background, so I need to invert this mask like that, and then unshow the mask, and then I'll go to curves transformation, reset that. Shall I put a preview on? Yeah, let's put a preview on. Okay. And I want to make this just a little bit darker on the background. Not too much, but a little bit. Put the real-time preview up. And now what I'll do is click here shows me that I need to not move these areas here. Okay, we're good. And then black. By clicking the black here, you can see it's flashing that line just here. Now all I do is I'm just going to put a marker there to hold that spot there. I'm just going to drag that down there just a touch. And then undo, redo. There we go. Drag that over the preview and see how we look. There we go. Whoops. Behind the mic. And then drag that over there. And that's probably the last process. Right, that is the image complete, apart from possibly a bit of cropping. I could possibly increase star color a little bit, but I'm not going to push it too hard. Now, what I was saying earlier about knowing what you're looking at, I put what are called WCS coordinates on this image using Image Solver. So basically it solved the image. And if I put on the utility here called WCS header, if I look at the WCS header of that image, I can now see that it's got right ascension and declination numbers built into the image. And the image scale, everything about it is built into the XISF files. What I do now is I run a script called image annotation, which is under render, annotate image. And I don't want the grid, constellation lines, name stars, not really. We'll just leave that, and I'll put PGC on as well. This is now going to identify galaxies that are there, and you might like this. It shows you what you're looking at. I click OK, and that's what you're actually looking at in that image. Every one of these NGCs is a galaxy. Every one of these PGCs is also a galaxy. Okay? If you zoom in, what you couldn't see before, but now it's being told to you that it is a galaxy, is being shown to you. So if we take a look at, there was one up here, wasn't there? That's the one. There it is. This one here, look. That's come out quite well, actually. Quite pleased with that. As I said before, I don't tend to look at the big ones. I like to look at the small ones, see what I've actually found. That's PixInsight process. What you do is you plate solve the image within PixInsight, and then you annotate. It's called image annotation. It's a feature of PixInsight. But if we perhaps look up NGC7343, let me just bring a web browser over and see what we're looking at. That was NGC7343. And of course, it's telling it to me in Dutch. There's lots of web pages about it. I'm just trying to find one that explains it best. Maybe this one will. Yeah, there's the image there. It doesn't tell you much about it on here. The fact of it is 343 million light years away. There you go. The fair old trek, isn't it? Let's just see if we can find a better description of it. This is I've got to translate this wiki page. There it is there. Oh, that smudge there. It's a beam spiral system. Don't think we know much about it. Only that it was discovered, it's in Pegasus and discovered in 1876. Yeah. Not very big. Anything else here? What does this website here say? Sky Factory. .4 magnitude, so it's pretty dim as well. It's quite a difficult one to find, that one, isn't it? So yeah, that's pretty cool. But this is what PixInsight can do for you. It can find all this stuff that you probably wouldn't know was there unless you know, you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 25 galaxies in that one image. As well as the main one we wanted, that one there. What's this one here? NGC7315. Wonder what that one's about. Didn't even know that. Notice that was there. Let's have a look down there. NGC7315. What's that one all about? Well, we've got an English page for this one. That one is... There's a supernova in there, but we can't see that. That's 143,000 light years away. But considerably... That's the same brightness, according to that. So, what I will do here is I'm going to save this image, alright, as annotated, an annotated image. Alright. So, that's done. So, we'll shut that. Actually, no, what I'll do is I'll save that as a JPEG for the website. Alright. Change the name. And it's going to create and say, oh, I can't do that. It's JPEG. We don't like JPEGs. So, there we go, guys. It's 12:10. I'm going to shut the stream off. Thanks for coming. I appreciate your company. The video here will be edited. Well, it'll be available on Twitch, but it will be edited as well, down from the 3 hours it's been, down to around about 40-45 minutes, I think. So you can, if you get PixInsight or you need to follow along with it, it will be available there to follow along with. I'm pleased. I'm glad. You know, I'm glad I'm entertaining. Once we get into winter and we get onto some of the bigger objects, as Rock said, as we get onto Orion and the Running Man and the Horsehead Nebula, then you'll see some really cool stuff, because those things fill the screen when you image them. And the first time you see the Orion Nebula on your screen, it's like, oh my god, look at the size of it. It's absolutely enormous. So we've got that to come. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon. I'm going to turn off the camera and the mic now, so cheers for now.